Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 44 of the J Situation Podcast. I'm recording this on January 5th, 2021. I'm back from vacation. Did you miss me? Man, I miss doing the podcast, honestly, but I also enjoyed the time off. Getting back into the swing of things, man, it's taking some adjustment. I'm happy to be back with you at the start of this great new year. I hope all of you had wonderful holidays. Hopefully, many of you had a chance to spend time with your loved ones. I hope so. Your friends, basically whomever you can spend time with, I hope you did. And for those of you unable to do so, well, I hope you made the most of your holiday season, and I hope you're back raring to go now. It's been a while since I last spoke with you, so I don't know, man. I might repeat myself a little bit on this episode, maybe not. We'll see how it goes. It'll be an adventure. It's an exciting time for PEW Science right now, and I'm sure is an exciting time for you folks as silencer and firearm consumers. Man, I tell you what, I am pretty excited about it. It's kind of a little thing. This isn't a huge thing. I mean, it's kind of a big deal to me. You're probably gonna not care, but I'm excited about it. And what that is, I bought my first computer in like 13 years or something. Like it's been like forever. Like back in the day, I used to build PCs, and overclock them and play games. And when I was a kid, like when you do that stuff. I haven't done that in a very long time. I typically use old hand-me-down work laptops. Like, I'll have laptops at work and, they'll get old and I'll get an upgraded laptop. And so I'll take the old one and I'll use that as my personal machine. I've been doing that for, I don't know how many years. You know what I mean? Well, it really wasn't cutting it anymore. It was kind of getting old doing that and didn't seem like, it's time to treat yourself. You know what I mean? No, I did need a new computer. And so I got a new ThinkPad. It's pretty dope. I've been using, I don't know, man, it seems like I've been using ThinkPads since forever. I mean, like back when they were made by IBM, before Lenovo, you know what I'm saying? Old school. So yeah, I got the new T15G, the Tango 15 Golf. It is a mobile workstation laptop. It is awesome, dude. It's crazy. It's one of those laptops where it has a full numpad on the keyboard. You know what I'm saying? It is legit. The screen is organic LED. It's wild, man. And it's a touch screen, but I don't really touch my laptop screen. I don't like fingerprints. But yeah, it's awesome. And I tell you what, I'm recording this podcast on it right now. I'm sitting at my desk and got my microphone here, and yeah, I've been using it for PEW Science. It is dedicated PEW Science workstation. It's nice to have just a really up-to-date computer system to program and do analysis on. It's you're like, yeah, that's pretty normal. I'm like, yeah, well, you would think it would be, except when you start a business, you're broke. And so it took a little bit for me to afford some equipment. Yeah, I love it. I love this laptop. It's awesome. I got a little docking station thing, and it puts my monitor in it, and it's all cool. It's all super fast and cool. I know that doesn't have a lot to do with guns and silencers or the outdoors and, other primary reasons a lot of folks listen to this podcast, but it does directly affect how PEW Science analysis gets performed. And I tell you what, I think the efficiency gains from this computer are going to pay dividends. It's very nice. Like I said, it's very powerful. Procurement of a computer to help PEW Science work was made in part, partially by contributions from PEW Science members. So for you members who are listening, thank you. I mean, your support is literally helping me give you better info. So I salute you for your contributions to the greater good. And speaking of support, I tell you what, the J Situation podcast, as always, is brought to you by PEW Science. Pushing the silencer industry forward, one test at a time. Visit pewscience.com for the suppression rating, the simplest and most accurate hearing safe ratings for your suppressed small arms. The suppression rating is actually in section 5 of the silencer sound standard. The standard walks you through gunshot noise, sort of like a Wikipedia article, but way cooler because it's about silencer sound. The standard actually just got updated. Okay, there are now 7 parts in the standard, and they are all on pewscience.com for you to read. If you haven't dug into it yet, that is totally fine. Ordinarily I'd say, well, why don't you go ahead and skip to the suppression rating in section 5, because that's where you're going to learn what is the suppression rating. Most simply put, it lets you know how silencers stack up in comparison to one another with regard to sound at the muzzle and at the shooter's ear, and it gives you a hearing safe dose limit for the particular platforms on which they are tested. Okay? So once you have a chance to go look at what the suppression rating is and you digest that, you're going to realize that you're not going to find this information anywhere else in the world. It's never been done before, and that's why. And that's why I'm very happy to offer it to you. The 6th section of the standard after that, after you familiarize yourself with how the rating works, you can check out all the reviews, and each silencer gets a rating there on each platform it's tested on, and the test reports are there in great detail for your perusal on the website there. But I tell you what, if you feel like that's just, you don't want to click. Your finger gets tired or your hand gets tired tapping on your phone, and you say, Jay, you're asking me to click all these buttons. Frankly, I'm a busy man. I don't got time. I say, you know what, sir? I got you, fam. Go straight to the ranking section in section 7. Dude, now there's a database tool. You just go on the table. You can sort the table. It's awesome. Okay? All it does, you go in there and you can sort and view the suppression ratings of all the publicly released test data. It's all right there on the table. And then if you find something that piques your interest, you can then click the links there for the individual reviews in the database, and it'll take you back to section 6, where all the reviews are, where you can read in detail about your favorite silencer. Okay? You can go wild, man. All the data's there. You can organize it, and you can sort by any column. You can filter. You can exclude. We'll talk about it more in this episode. I'll give you some more information on that. As always, if you are a manufacturer and you would like to use PEW Science for private testing and consulting services, there is a form on the website with which you can submit that inquiry. Your contact information and all test data will be held in strict confidence, unless, of course, you want to release it to the public, in which case PEW Science can help you do that. We've released a couple of reviews from our private testing so far. You guys have seen that. So, go to the website, go to pewscience.com and check those out. More of those contracted test reports are coming in this first quarter of 2021, so stay tuned for those. You're going to see some stuff you've never seen, that nobody's ever seen before. That's what we do here at PEW Science. Show you things you have never seen. So, I will say, you can support this podcast and PEW Science and our testing and our analysis, our research, and everything we do by joining with a membership at pewscience.com. And man, you know what? If that's too much for you, that's totally fine. No pressure there. I mean, hey man, just go to your favorite podcast provider. You might even try to give a good rating there as well. It'll let the podcast people know and the general public know that guns and silencers are awesome. You know what I mean? It helps the algorithms. It lets guns become popular. This is very important for our cause. The hobby and the freedoms that we enjoy are typically under attack by folks that don't understand the technology. So I believe that through education, the hearts and minds can be won. Okay, so six topics for you today. Let's see, topic 1, the Silencer Sound Standard Section 7. PEW Science rankings. We'll talk about those. I just mentioned those briefly. We'll go ahead and talk about those and kind of show you what's what there. Topic 2, remember before the holidays, Sound Signature Review 630. The YHM Resonator K on the minifix with subsonic 300 blackout. Remember that Sound Signature Review? You saw that data before Christmas there. I released that. But I never had a chance to talk with you. I've been on vacation. So, we'll talk about that topic. We'll talk about that silencer. Topic 3, whitetail deer hunting with a CGS Hyperion K on a 16-inch 308 bolt action. Real field experience. I'll tell you what, definitely have real field experience with it now because I definitely used it on a hunting trip. Definitely killed things with it. It's awesome. We'll talk about that. Topic 4, new Sound Signature review this week. That's right. It's the first week of January, and you're getting a new review. What is up? 2021 kicking off. It's going to be awesome. It's going to have in-depth analysis in it. There's all kinds of stuff. It's going to be great. All right, stand by for that. Topic 5, PEW Science industry happenings and updates. Just a little bit, a little bit of stuff to tell you there. It's exciting stuff. And then topic 6, welcome to new PEW Science members. Thank you for your support, as always. Okay, moving to topic 1 here, and tell you what, it turns out these timestamps are pretty dang useful. They're useful for me too. Sometimes I gotta go back and look at stuff. So we're gonna be at a time of 11 minutes and 57 seconds. Yeah. Topic 1, Silencer Sound Standard Section 7 PEW Science rankings. Okay. Oh man. I told myself I wasn't going to do any work on my vacation. Okay? That's what I told myself. And for the most part, I followed that rule. However, on Christmas Eve, I was feeling a little bit generous. And I was happy, and everything was great. I may or may not have been drinking a little bit. And I was like, hey, what are you going to do? Are you going to waste your time? Or are you going to... You're gonna do something crazy, and no, it wasn't that crazy. I created Section 7 of the Silencer Sound Standard. It's basically a first draft. I did it very quickly, but I published it live because, hey, look, you can't do great things without taking risks. Okay, so what this does is it forms a skeleton for PEW Science rankings. I think we needed a new section of the standard, and I alluded to this several times over the past year. I often get asked if there's an easy way to summarize all the data in one place. Now there is. Okay? Now, one thing that's important that I really need you guys to listen to. Okay, you need to hear me right now. Silencer rankings aren't just about sound. Okay, many of you know that. Or you know that, but you don't know you know that. That's okay. As I say on the page, on the ranking page there, silencer performance depends on 9 factors. These 9 factors, I picked them. Okay, I wrote this, so let me go to the page right now, and I can read them to you. That way let's all do this. Okay, so what I did, let's go through them. If you go to pewscience.com, there's a link on the home page. There's a link in the menu. There's a link on the review page. It says the rankings. Section 7 is pewscience.com/rankings. You can go directly there if you like. What I've listed here, principally, I've listed 9 parameters which I believe influence silencer operational performance. Okay? I'm going to name them. Number 1, host weapon characteristics, such as barrel length and action type. There are many things there, okay? Number 2, cartridge. Number 3, ammunition type. Okay, that's, for example, subsonic, supersonic, etc. Number 4, accuracy influence on the host weapon. How does the silencer influence the accuracy potential of your host? Number 5, Flow restriction. Another word for flow restriction is back pressure. Okay, this is not blowback. This is back pressure. Those are not the same thing. Okay, back pressure can cause blowback. Back pressure does not necessarily cause blowback. Understand? Okay, because all of that is a function of the preceding three things. Okay, yeah. You see how this is everything's interrelated. Number 6, durability and maintenance factors. Very important. Very important. Number 7, total weight and size envelope. Okay. Number 8, sound signature suppression. Well, it's the silencer sound standard. It's good that one's in there. And number 9, flash signature suppression. Yeah. So that's 9. I mean, are those 9 the only things that is that an exhaustive list? Probably not. It's probably not an exhaustive list. But you know what I believe I might have been having a glass of whiskey and I wrote it. I might even have forgot one and had to go back and add it. Okay? Like this is like, off the top of my head I said, you know what? These are all the things that are important for silencers, and they're interrelated, and this is what people care about. And I think that those 9 things capture that fairly well, and so that's why they're there. Okay, so that's the list. But so what I've chosen to do with the ranking section, I wanted to open the ranking section, and preface it by saying, here is what you need to know matters. Now let's make a bunch of subsections in section 7 for all the different rankings. And then when we're done with everything, we'll have the Encyclopedia of Silencers, right? And it'll be like the Bible. It'll be like a silencer Bible, right? It's easy peasy lemon squeezy. We just got to work really hard to do it, and it's going to take a long time, but it's going to be awesome. I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day. So the first subsection I chose to focus on, imagine that, is suppression rating rankings. Okay, so this is going to address, right now, it's going to address number 8. It's going to address sound signature suppression. Okay, and it's also going to be influenced by number 1, the host weapon characteristics. It's going to be influenced by number 2, the cartridge. It's going to be influenced by number 3, the ammunition type. In the future, it'll be even influenced by number 5, the flow restriction, right? I mean, you might even see flow. You might even see back. Are you going to see some back pressure rankings later? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe you will. Maybe you won't. Probably will. Okay. I got news for you guys. Like all you guys who are doubting the back pressure metric. Okay. Stay tuned, because I just talked to another manufacturer this evening, and they pretty much confirmed more of my data too. So, I'm telling you guys, this stuff's awesome. It's working. So yeah, section 7.1, it's really cool. It is awesome. It ranks everything you've seen with a suppression rating, but it does it in I think a user-friendly way. So keep in mind, the suppression rating is a universal scale. It's universal. So that is it is comparable no matter what the platform. Understand? So let me give you a very simple example, a real example. The Vox S got a suppression rating overall and at the muzzle and at the ear on a 20-inch 308 bolt gun with supersonic ammo, right? Okay, that same silencer got a different suppression rating overall at the muzzle and at the ear on a 300 blackout bolt gun with subsonic ammo. You feel me? Okay, and that's all on the table there here. So you can view all the ratings on the same suppression rating scale. The ratings are different because 308 is louder than 300 blackout subsonic. But that's one example of one silencer having different performance on 2 different platforms, okay? I know that this seems simple to you. However, there are people who didn't know this. Even though the Vox S you've seen twice, and they had 2 different ratings, and you should have seen that. And now you're like, oh, well, why was the rating different? Well, The Vox was trying to suppress a supersonic centerfire rifle cartridge, and then it was trying to suppress an intermediate subsonic rifle cartridge 300 blackout. And it's like, oh, well, on an 8-inch barrel versus a 20-inch barrel. It's like, well, those two combustion events couldn't be more different. All right. Well, yeah, I mean, they could be, but they're super different. So that's why the suppression rate is different. Why? Not necessarily because it's different ammunition, not necessarily because it's a different gun, or it's because the loudness is different. Suppression rating is tied to objective loudness. Okay. So this section allows you to compare all of the test reports shown on the website in one place. There are drop-down menus. It's cool. You can pick the manufacturer, silencer. You can pick a weapon system there. You can pick the ammunition there, and there's little sliders. So you can take the suppression rating, the overall one, which is the composite rating, the muzzle suppression rating, and the ear suppression rating. You can use the sliders to filter the data in the table if you like. Okay. You can filter out, you want to just to see the loudest silencers, or you want to just see the quiet silencers, or maybe you just want to see the muzzle ratings or the ear, whatever you want. Or you can even scroll down to the table and you can sort by each column by clicking the column, and it'll sort, by each column. It's very simple. It's a simple tool, but it does have all the data there, so it's easy for you. And I tell you what's really cool is there's a link to each review there. It tells you not only, there's a column, not only which sound signature review it is, but there's a link. So if you see something you want to mess with, like I said before, you can just click the review link there, and it'll take you back to section 6 to that particular review, so that you can read about it. And that takes you to the free versions of the reviews. If you are a PEW Science member, you're going to have to go, and once you click on that review, you'll have to go to the members area and then go to the member version. But we're not going to link member stuff from the public page. That's just not how website security works. Okay. So, I code all this myself, right? Like I'm not exactly not the best at it, but it seems to work pretty well. I mean, please let me know if you have any feedback if it's not working right. Now, as each review is published, as I give you more data, you'll see the table get more populated. Okay, so this table is going to get bigger, right? And more comparative tools and charts will be added to help you compare the data. Okay, you know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Okay, so like as we build this table and as we add more types of data to the table, and as the suppression rating rankings things evolves, as the PEW Science rankings and the entire section 7 evolves, there will be tools to compare things graphically, numerically, qualitatively, quantitatively. Pictures. No, probably not pictures. Probably just facts, just objective data for you. Okay, that's the thought. I mean, this is like, I'm literally like this. This is from member suggestions. Okay, this is from original PEW Science planning of what we're gonna do. This is what happens. We have PEW Science members. I listen to your feedback. People ask for this. I did it for you. So use it. If you don't want to use it, don't. That's fine. You don't need to even look at this page if you don't want to, but I tell you what, it does sort of put things in perspective. I see some folks on social media, they make their own tables because they want to show people. Well, now you don't even have to do that. Just put this link there. Okay? The suppression ratings are all on there for you. Okay? Helps you. I think. I mean, it helps me. If it helps me, it's got to help you, I think. So yeah, it's useful. It's a useful tool. It's just a start. Okay? Keep that in mind. And so if you have any comments or suggestions, email tech@pewscience.com, and I'll see if I can incorporate your suggestions. All right? If I think they're going to help the community at large, and if I am technically capable of making your suggestions be incorporated, I will do so. Does it sound good? Yeah. Okay. I hope that's helpful for you. Check it out. The standard has 7 sections now. Hope you enjoy. Okay. Let's move into topic 2 at a time of 25 minutes and 12 seconds. Okay. Topic 2. Sound signature review 630, the YHM Resonator K on the mini fix with subsonic 300 blackout. Oh man. Okay. Speaking of test data. Speaking of the silencer sound standard. No. How about that Resonator K? How about that? No. This is another subsonic 300 blackout review. I'm curious. Are you guys expecting results like this? I don't, and I know you can't answer me because I'm speaking into a microphone right now, but so maybe that's rhetorical. Perhaps you'll give me feedback on when you contact me after this. What were your impressions of the Resonator K after seeing this data? That I've received some feedback publicly from folks, some privately DMs. I would like to know your feedback. I am interested to see what folks think about data when they see it. Like, are you surprised, for example? I mean, this silencer is very small. Now, one interesting thing is that the whole thing weighs almost a pound with the Phantom QD brake adapter and brake. Okay? Which, by the way, we don't need to talk about this brake that much right now, but the Phantom QD is old school and it works pretty well. I like it. I think the YHM mounts are cool. Like I never had a problem with them. I think they're cool. But just the silencer, like without that stuff, with no mount, because it has that, what is it? The 1 3/8 and 24 threads per inch rear mount capability. When you have nothing screwed into the back of the silencer and it's just naked there without a mount, dude, it only weighs 9.5 ounces. Okay, it's stainless steel. It's got an Inconel blast baffle, right? So really, this thing is a tough little 308 silencer that you can really put it on anything. Or 308, 30 caliber silencer. I haven't shown you the 308 data yet. I chose to start with the subsonic 300 blackout data for this silencer just because, honestly, I literally had no agenda for that. I just wanted to show you more 300 blackout data first. That's all. Like, so if you're like sitting there wondering, whoa, Jay didn't show blah, blah, because I'm like, no, dude, he's like, it's funny. I'm going to, let me elaborate on that point really quick. I'm not going to harp on this, but because we have a lot to get to, but lately there have been people, and I think it's because PEW Science is getting more popular now. So by default, the proportion, so you have, when you do something the public views, there's always like a fraction of people that are like, oh, this is awesome. There's a fraction of people who are not vocal at all. They can think whatever they want. There's a fraction of people who are indifferent. And then there's a fraction of people who hate you and want to kill you. It's just the way the internet is. It's because the internet is anonymous and many people have violent thoughts, I guess. And so because PEW Science is growing and because it's becoming more well known, it's the mass fraction of people that are belligerent. Those people. It's not that the proportion is growing. It's just that the number of people that are vocal about that are growing because there's more people. The entire population is growing, right? That know about it. And the people and what's interesting is I think it's almost like it's actually a smaller proportion because there's so many people that do enjoy the data, but the people who don't, my goodness gracious, I tell you what, they are vocal. But they're not vocal to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, they won't contact me directly. They'll never use their name. They'll never, ever use an email address or a phone number or anything, right? Like, they'll never, ever, ever be real. They'll only do it anonymously, and they'll be very like crazy rude about it. It's crazy. It's like this weird like internet land. And so, I got this thing the other day. Is like, I think was it this week or last week? Something on the internet, and someone's like, you need to test this because no one cares about blah blah. And I'm sitting here thinking like, dude, are you like sometimes I read those criticisms, and I kind of like, I'll set my phone down, or I'll back away from this computer screen, and I'll just like think for a second, and I'm like, you're telling me that you want something and that I should give you what you want because nobody else wants it's like they think they know what everyone in the world knows and then wants, and they're like, clearly sir, you clearly are publishing the wrong type of data. I'm like, okay, like, cool, dude. Like, if you want to do this better, you go and do it. You go test some silencers, and you let me know how that works out for you. I was like, it's so crazy. So I pick a 300 blackout test, right? And I'm like, hey, I'm going to give you guys, people have been telling me, Jay, I really want to see subsonic 300 blackout. I'm like, I got you, fam. I've released a lot of supersonic 308 data. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, we're going to sprinkle a little 300 blackout on it. We're going to sprinkle a little subsonic 300 blackout in this. It's going to be a smattering. It's going to help put things in perspective. It's going to show how different silencer designs can behave in different flow regimes. It's going to be great. People are going to love it. And then sure enough, just like people ask for the 300 blackout subsonic, then you give them 300 blackout subsonic, they say, oh no, I wanted that. I'm like, okay, relax. And so now I'm like, look, what do you want from me? There's all these theories. Well, Jay hasn't released this, so it's clear. It's like, you guys conspiracy theory. You guys got to relax. Like, you think I have time to like make a vast conspiracy of like what I release, dude? Like, I wish I had that time. You're gonna get data when you get it. Like, there is no mystery. There is no grand scheme. There is nothing except performance and data from silencers I test. Like, there's no agenda. There's nothing except science and doing the best job I possibly can. So I just want to clear that up in case you're listening to this and you think I'm holding something from you. It's like, yeah, in that I'm not giving you like the entire test database without processing the data because you could do nothing with it. Yeah, it takes time. So anyway, 300 blackout, subsonic, mini fix, discrete ballistics, subsonic ammo. Okay, that's a standard subsonic ammo, PEW Science. That's what I use for this test. The suppression rating of this silencer on that platform overall is 40.9. Okay, 40.9. Let me just go to the review here. I like to go to the review when I'm talking with you about it. For those of you just tuning in, I kind of do this stream of consciousness, and I just want to make sure I don't tell you wrong, because sometimes I have been known to forget what I've written, at least initially. So at the muzzle, the rating is 33.8, and the ear rating is 39.6. So at the ear, you're almost 40. You're almost at 40 on this platform with the Resonator K. Now, this puts the Resonator K with subsonic 300 blackout on a bolt gun in the at-ear range of some full-size silencers on 308. Does that make sense? Like, is that a good frame of reference for you? Like, if you want to look at those type of comparisons by the numbers, just go to section 7, right? Now you can. You go to the ranking section, right? You scroll down to the table and you sort by suppression rating at the ear. Let me do that right now. So I go to rankings, and I know you can't see what I'm doing, but it doesn't matter because you understand what I'm doing. So I go to the ranking section. I'm at the table. I haven't filtered anything. Now I'm going to click on the ear (shooter) suppression rating. I click that in the table, and then it thinks for a second and it sorts. If I click it again, it sorts the opposite direction, okay? So I click twice, sorted the opposite direction. The lowest suppression rating at the ear that's shown in this table right now, it's the Surefire SOCOM 762 RC2, and yeah, it's the one with the war comp, because that thing blew a freaking blast wave at my face, and if you remember, you saw that waveform. And you're like, and so I didn't have to even prove it. Oh, you know what? Oh, before I forget about this Surefire, today on social media, I wasn't on social media today. I had a really hard day today at work, and there was a lot of stuff going on. But I checked my DMs like in this like short break I had or something, and this dude has sent me a thing. He said, "Hey, the Grantham guy that I think his name is Mike. He's a YouTube man." YouTube Army man, Marine. He's a Marine. YouTube Marine man. I think he released some kind of Surefire test. It's an RC2. I don't know what caliber RC2. I don't know what silencer it is. But apparently on the video you could see flash coming out of the rear of the silencer, and the guy uses a war comp. And so someone messaged me like, "Dude, Jay, the Grantham man showed flash coming out of the rear of his silencer, and he uses the war comp." And I reposted it to my story. I said, "Yes, PEW Science data shows that is likely." So you see, guys, you didn't even need to watch YouTube. You already had the data right here at PEW Science. And my data's right. And it's real, and it's quantitative. But you watched YouTube and you saw validation. So I guess that's cool. But I just thought that was interesting, right? So anyway, I'm not saying don't go watch YouTube, because, hey, I like Grantham's videos. He shoots very well. He likes to say funny things. He's an enjoyable personality, enjoyable entertainer. Okay. So yeah, so I sorted I'm right here on the ranking section. I clicked twice on the ear column here, the ear suppression rating, and I'm sorted from, what that did is it sorted it from lowest to highest, only by the ear suppression rating. So now I look down here and I go until I hit Yankee Hill Machine Resonator K, 39.6. Okay, remember we said that was the ear rating. That's here in the table, sure enough, and there's a link to the review. I could have clicked on there. Now, what's around there? So that's a subsonic 300 blackout test. The Resonator K on the mini fix. That's an 8-inch barrel, subsonic 300 blackout, Resonator K, 39.6 at the ear. The thing that's the next loudest at the ear is the Sandman L on 308, 38.9. Okay, that's 0.7 points, 0.7 points lower than the Yankee Hill Machine Resonator K on subsonic 300 blackout. So you're comparing. So that's less than a point away. It's a very similar signature. If you shot a Sandman L on a supersonic 300 blackout, okay, the average sound signature at the ear is a little more intense than shooting the Resonator K on what did I say? I'm sorry. Let me repeat that last sentence, because I think I just said something weird. If you have shot the Sandman L on supersonic 308 on a 20-inch without hearing protection, and you are familiar with the gross loudness of that signature, if you shoot the YHM Resonator K on a subsonic 300 blackout bolt gun, at the ear it's going to be a little bit less loud than that Sandman L was on 308. You see what I mean, Jelly Bean? These suppression rating numbers are comparable. This is the first time you've been able to do this. I'll get to why in a second. Okay, let's look at the other side of that. What's a little bit quieter than the Yankee Hill Machine Resonator K on subsonic 300 blackout? Well, it's the Obsidian 45 in its short configuration on the HK P30L with 9mm subsonic, the Spear Lom at 147 grain. That got 39.9 at the ear average. So 39.9 ear at the 39.9 suppression rating average at the ear with that pistol silencer. It's a little bit quieter than shooting the Resonator K on the 300 blackout mini fix. So if you've shot the Sam NL, or if you've shot the Obsidian 45 short configuration on the respective hosts, and you've never shot the Resonator K, and you've never shot a minifix, and you've never shot subsonic 300 blackout, now you know what to expect when you shoot it, don't you? Because it's all right here on this table, right next to each other, sorted. And that's objective loudness. So do you understand now how powerful the suppression rating is? Is this making you understand? You have literally never been able to do this before. You cannot sort a test result table by peak decibels and have something useful that means anything to you. I promise you. If you would have sorted by decibels, you will not get the same order. You will not get the same sort order. Okay? It's just not going to work. Because you need more than peak decibel to compute loudness. Now, where only peak decibels mean less than nothing, the suppression rating means everything. And so the table you see in the rankings section at pewscience.com/rankings is the most useful table of silencer sound data ever published in the history of small arms, in the history of the world, ever. And the table isn't even that big yet. Okay? This is the most comprehensive set of useful loudness data for silencers ever published in the world. And it'll fit on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper right now. I've barely started this, guys. We haven't even been publishing data for a year yet. That's how powerful the suppression rating is. And that's how powerful the silencer sound standard is. And that's why it's taking a while, because we cannot afford to do it incorrectly. We have to do it correctly. But when you do it correctly, look what you have. Look at this. I mean, marvel at it. Marvel at this. How could you... I mean, you can literally rank loudness of different weapon systems. And if you're shopping, you could shop with this. You could look at, I want something that's a little quieter. So you say, okay, I scroll down. You scroll down from the Resonator K, say 39.6 to the ear. Nah, son. Put me in the 50 zone, fam. Put me in the 50 zone. You say, okay. So you scroll down, you go, well, what's at the 50 at the ear so far? Well, the first thing that gets to the 50 at the ear is the CGS Hyperion on the Supersonic 308. That's a 51.7 at the ear. What's the next thing? This is going to blow your mind. Then what's the next quietest at the ear? The short version of the Rugged Oculus on a little semi-auto 22. What's the next thing? The Q half Nelson on subsonic 300 blackout. That's how quiet the half Nelson is. Isn't that crazy? And then what's the next thing? Make the Oculus longer on the pistol, and then you get into the bolt gun tests, which are in the 90s at the ear, because bolt action 22s are super quiet. So yeah, you see what this does. You see what this does now. I've just gone through this example for you, and frankly, I don't know. You know what's really crazy? This is the first time I've actually gone through that example. Like, I don't look at the data like this. I know you guys do, because I look at the data in a different way. Typically, not as high level as this. I kind of just look at it. I just look at it differently. And so yeah, this is a really neat tool. I mean, I've just impressed myself, honestly. I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, you can sort by the sound signature review, sort by ammunition. You can filter them out. You can look at only if you only like dead air and you want to buy any other thing but dead air, and dead air is the best thing to you, and you have dead air tattooed on your forehead. Okay. You go up here, you go to manufacturer, you hover over dead air silencers, you click the only button. It'll show you only dead air, and then you can, oh look, there's 4 Sandmen. Then you click on the ear suppression rating there if you're a shooter. then you can see which is loud, which isn't. There you go. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? Okay. All right. And I know you're gonna say, well, gosh, Jay, why are there only 4 dead air silencers there? Well, why haven't you put? Because I just haven't. We gotta test the nomads. Then there's 4 Sandmen. Then you're gonna see what are you gonna see? You're gonna see the nomad L, and then well, there's only 2 nomads. Well, there's Nomad TI and the Nomad LT. They're the same thing, just titanium. Well, dead air. They might. Dead air's been through a lot of iterations. There's probably a bunch of different internals you don't know about. That's just how. That's how things like that go. We'll have to figure out how to test the nomads. I'll have to really make sure we test the correct versions, because I'm sure you're gonna. Who knows? Who knows? Honestly, that's one of those things where you never can be quite sure if you're testing the silencer that the consumers are getting. You feel me? And so I just really got to be careful where I get them. Is kind of like what I'm saying, and that's just not that. And that's I'm not picking on dead air. I'm just saying that goes for any silencer company. Honestly, most of the time, 99% of the time, I get silencers not from the silencer company. That's not to avoid fraud, but one of the benefits of it is to avoid fraud. Okay, so it's not purposeful that I'm doing that to avoid fraud, but it does help avoid fraud. So fraud's real. And if that ever happens, you will know it. Boy, you guys don't worry about you worry about that. Jay's gonna let you. No, I don't want to talk about myself in the third person. That's weird. No, but seriously, if anything like that were to ever happen in the silencer sound standard, and for some reason PEW Science was misled, and that caused PEW Science to mislead you, rest assured that the offender would probably be eliminated from inclusion in the silencer sound standard in perpetuity, and their silencers would simply not be evaluated. Because frankly, there are a lot of silencers, and so we don't need people in the silencer sound standard that can't play nice with the public, right? So that's not a threat. That's just a reality. In fact, it's not. It's definitely not a threat. It's actually in our legal terms and conditions on pewscience.com. It's you can call my lawyer, bro. Anyway, okay, let's go on. Getting a little deep here. Yeah. So I'll tell you what, the table's good. Check out the rankings. Let's go back to the Resonator K. Now, one thing I want to talk about with the silencer, the first round pop of the Resonator K on 300 blackout subsonic is fairly significant to bystanders. You're gonna hear it, I think, folks. You're gonna hear it. I promise you that. Look, the reason I'm telling you you're gonna hear it, that's what the PEW Science inner ear modeling shows, and from shooting the gun during the test with the earplugs, look, man, the ear models are good. They're working. Now, there's something a little weird, and I think I did notate this in the review in December. There's something a little weird that happens with the Resonator K that you don't see a lot, or at least I have not seen a lot in my analyses so far, and that's the immediate wave pulse out of the silencer in on the first shot. It's actually a little bit greater during the first round pop. So what I'm talking about specifically, I'm not talking about the overall amplitude of the waveform. I'm not saying, oh, it's so weird that the first round pop has higher pressure. No. What I'm saying is it's weird that the first round pop has higher pressure in the region that is composed of the muzzle end cap exit event. Okay, meaning that like when you're shooting subsonic ammo and you have muzzle blast, but you have less supersonic component to the flow, and so you're getting you're getting an interesting first wave arrival. And if you look at, let's see, instead of speaking in such generalities, let me just tell you what figure to look at. So I just pulled up the review in figure 2B. What you can do is you click on 2B, it'll make it bigger. And then you can see there, the first, what I call it in the figure is the first jet and end cap exit. That's the event note that I noted the waveform peak there on the plot is 145.6 decibels. It's shy of 400 pascals or so. On the first shot there in black, that's the shot 1. And what I did this time in the review is I included all 5 shots in this zoomed in profile of the early time sequence of the wave, when you see the firing system manipulation in the minifix, then you see the internal system combustion inside the minifix and the silencer there. The first shot has a rush of combustion extremely early. It's so early, it's coupled with the end cap exit event. And so that is actually not typical. Typically, you would see these events more coupled together, or rather in similar amplitude to the follow-up shots, and then the differentiation of the first round pop would be subsequent to that, right? But I think I know why this is happening. I think I know why. I have a theory about the Resonator K, why this happens, and it's because the blast baffle is perforated. Okay, has holes in it, right? I don't know if you know that. But if you look inside the Resonator K, it has holes around the circumference in the blast baffle. It's like a little shallow cone, shallow type of cone baffle, and it has holes in it. And so there's that. And then the silencer is really small. So in layman's terms, what's happening is the combustion happens inside the silencer during the first round, and that has a hard time keeping this silencer has a hard time keeping that in there. It just doesn't have enough baffles. It's just coming out fast. Okay, and so that's just something I noticed. It was definitely unique. And I thought that's good for people to know that design silencers or shoot silencers. If you see that in the silencer and it's a small silencer, know that your first round pop is probably going to be loud, at least in the subsonic 300 blackout. Now, PEW Science members see the detailed at-ear data in the reviews too. This data indicates that the first round pop is still significant to the shooter, but it's not as significant as it is to bystanders with the silencer. Okay, like if you wanted to do a relative comparison, so that may be a useful data point for you folks who don't care about overall signature, and you're just looking to shoot this on your 300 blackout subsonic by yourself. Maybe for added hearing protection, for example. More detailed member analysis of this is forthcoming. Now, man, I think I have a cold right now. Like I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, so I'm kind of congested. So pardon me if I sound like if I can't breathe, it's because I can't. Now, how does this silencer compare to the other 2 silencers shown so far in 300 blackout subsonic testing? Well, you're in luck, because I put a table in the review to talk about that. So you've seen in the table there, figure 6 there. Let's see, you've seen the Vox S on 300 blackout subsonic. You've seen the Half Nelson 300 blackout subsonic, and now the Resonator K. Okay, so the Resonator K is louder than both those other silencers. That's easy for you to see. It's not only in the ranking section, but it's in this review in color. It is louder. It's smaller. It's smaller than those two silencers, and it has less baffles than those 2 silencers. But, as noted in the review, the difference to personnel firing the weapon with the Vox S and the Resonator K, it's noticeable. It's noticeable, but it's not extreme. Okay? I just want you to understand the magnitudes here. Now, the difference between the Half Nelson and the Resonator K, that's extreme. That's drastic. That's like Oh, that's like 15 points in the suppression rating at the ear. It's like 39.6 versus 54.5 at the ear. Come on, man. It's like, it's a different sport. That's because the half Nelson is like a purpose-built 300 blackout silencer. Like the Resonator K is a completely different thing for a completely different use, really. So, yeah, they're completely different systems. Completely different. Couldn't be more different, actually. Those two silencers are some of the most different silencers you'll ever see. They have nothing in common, honestly, other than the fact that they're both 30 caliber. I mean, one's titanium, one's large diameter, one's steel, perforated baffled, one's completely different cone, tubeless. It's like, what? It's completely different. Completely different. So, direct thread taper to, that universal weird other mount stuff, modular stuff. So it's like, but they're now on the same chart, the same level playing field for you. It's very odd you'd ever see these silencers compared to one another, but hence is the nature of the silencer sound standard. So, I mean, there's so many dang silencers. This is what you're going to get. You're going to get these weird comparisons. You're like, what? Resonator K and the Vox? Like, if I was this consumer, like, honestly, guys, and this is like, just like my opinion. This is not, this is just me talking to you. I tell you what, man. I don't know. Like, most of the stuff I review, I would never buy. Just because I don't have a need for it, you know what I mean? It's just, and that's going to keep happening. Like, there's so much stuff, dude. There is so many silencers. There are so many silencers. And I realize that they're out there in the wild, and a lot of you have them, and for whatever reason, you bought them, and either you love it or you sought it out for a reason. And I'm not here to, rain on your parade and question your choices, but what I'm saying is, like, for me, like, sometimes I just look at this, and I'm not talking about necessarily the Resonator K, but I'm just looking at this chart right now. It's just been a while since I looked at it. And so I'm looking at the Resonator K and the half Nelson and the Vox. And I just look at this list. I'm like, what? I'm like, on what planet would I ever be looking at those three silencers on the same graph? It's like, those three silencers are so incredibly different that it's like, what? But that is what I had picked. I'm not, it's not that I'm questioning my decision to show you those first. It's just, I'm like, well, here we are. So anyway, overall, I think the Resonator K it's a pretty interesting silencer. It really is. It's very versatile, I would say. You can put it on anything you want. You can put it on a Remington 300 Ultra Mag. Frankly, I mean, you can shoot the heck out of the Resonator K. I don't think you're going to break it. You're probably not going to break it. I mean, if you could if you tried, but you probably won't. You'll have to stay tuned for the Supersonic 308 data for it, though, because I have tested it on that too. And so, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it compares to the other compact silencers on that platform, and we'll have to see how it compares to this subsonic performance. If your suppression rating here at the ear was 39.6, how much will it drop on Supersonic 308, if at all? Bump, bump, bump. If at all, yeah, it'll probably drop. There's no way it's going to make a 40, is it? I don't know. Have I even analyzed that yet? Hold on a second, guys. I'll pull that up for you. Oh, that was a loud noise. Microsoft Excel got mad at me. No, I don't even have that in this right now. I haven't even processed any of that data. So, oh yeah, that was in a secondary series. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I have that data. I just haven't calculated. Yeah. So I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even if I wanted to, which I wouldn't even tell you. But even if I was going to, I can't. Don't have the data yet. Don't have the computation and the analysis performed yet. So the raw data gives you nothing. So when I do that, when I finish processing that Resonator K supersonic data for you that I have from the test, I will let you know, and I will publish it for you, and then you will have that data point. I know there have actually been several folks asking for that. Well, immediately when I publish this, I think the Resonator K is a very popular silencer, and so people are like, oh, what about supersonic? I'm like, dang guys, did I flip my coin wrong? Remember earlier I was talking about, well, if I publish subsonic, you want supersonic. If I publish supersonic, you want... So no, I'm being a little, I'm joking a little bit because you guys are pretty grateful and you've been great. But yeah, I think the supersonic data is going to help you. So stay tuned for that. Now, I wanted to say about YHM specifically before we close out this topic. YHM was extremely forthcoming when I contacted them about this test report that I performed. The test that I performed and the test report that I authored. They were very forthcoming, as they always are, by the way. I just want to give them a shout out because I spoke with their entire team, their executive team. Okay, so the owners. Okay, and they really appreciated the data. The data is in line with their observations regarding this silencer. I think YHM is a company in this industry that recognizes the value of good R&D. So, thank you to YHM for being awesome. Thank you for being good sports and taking the time to listen to me and explain all this data. It was great meeting. And I've met. You saw the first episode of this podcast was an interview with one of the owners of YHM. Right? Episode 1, baby. I've known these guys for quite some time. I mean, I'm not close with them, but we have a professional relationship. They're cool. And so, yeah, I think consumers will benefit from folks that have attitudes like the folks at YHM. I think that YHM is a good company. I think that they're doing stuff that, hey, is everything they make going to be a hit and they knock everything out of the park? No company's going to do that. But I tell you what, they've been around a very long time, and hey, a lot of people like their stuff. So, just this is not telling you to go buy anything from YHM. Believe me, I don't even, do I own a YHM? No. Hey, you know what? My fiance has a YHM. She has a Phantom. I always forget what it's called. The Phantom Ultra 30 Ti. Phantom Ultra Ti 30. It's the old Phantom 30 titanium. It's a Mark White baffle stack silencer. Mark White, Soundtech, back in the day. That's what's inside that silencer. They licensed that technology from Mark a long time ago. I tested my fiance's YHM silencer. I have to release that data. It's out of production, so I kind of put that on the back burner because I didn't think it would be as useful to people. But I think there are a lot out there, so I'll probably release it to help the folks that have it know how to quantify the hearing damage potential. But anyway, I just kind of went off some tangents. But yeah, YHM's cool. Look them up if you don't know who they are, and if you don't care, then don't. Who cares? Okay, let's see. Topic 3. Let's go. This is a time of 1 hour, 3 minutes, and 4 seconds. Topic 3. Whitetail deer hunting with a CGS Hyperion K on a 16-inch 308 bolt action. My fixed rifle field experience. Okay. Boy, howdy. I need a drink. Okay, don't worry. It's a Topo Chico. Did you see that South Texas buck that I shot, guys? I think I'm going to post that with this pod. You know what? Now that I think about it, I'm going to post that with this podcast. I am proud of that buck. Tell you what, my fiance and I killed 3 whitetail deer last week. This is last week on our holiday hunting excursion. We packed up the dog, some guns, awesome Christmas week leftovers, some food, and we headed out for a week to hunt. Were we there for about a week at the ranch? Yeah. We have a place we go to that we like to go to, and it's great. Spent a week out there. Used the Hyperion K on the 16-inch 308 fix and killed all 3 deer with that setup. All 3 deer were eliminated. Were harvested with the fix, with the Hyperion K. I first shot the 12-point trophy buck. That was a cool buck. It had kickers on both sides, man. You'll have to see the picture. It's wild. I'd never seen a rack like that. in a low fence area like that. I don't hunt high fence. I say that I'm all being smug. No, I'm not going to try to be. I'm not trying to down like. I don't want to talk mess about folks that hunt high fence, but I hunt low fence. I'm just saying. After I shot my buck, that was I want to say I shot him at like 3 p.m. Like 1500. I shot that buck. It was weird. Just like a weird time to shoot a buck like that. And then my fiance shot an 8-point cull buck. Oh, I'm so proud of her. Oh my God, she made such a good shot in that buck. She shot that buck the next morning. And then it was pretty cold that morning, so we were actually able to leave her buck sitting there dead for a minute or two. And then I shot a doe. Excuse me. From like the same location we were sitting in. It was awesome. So like, using a silencer, the deer, like there were deer in the area, and the deer were like, well, that was weird. That's a weird sound, but the sound wasn't over here, so we're totally gonna keep eating and die. So that was cool. I hunt with Supersonic 308 because I like to make sure I kill things and find the blood trail. I've said this before, but I hunt in South Texas, and it's a very thick brush. If you do not have a shot that passes through, I'll tell you what. Well, here's a good example. That doe I shot, which she ran 10 yards, give or take. She was shot in the heart. I shot her in the heart. We shoot all our deer in the heart if we can. I said that on social media. I said, hey, I like to shoot my deer in the heart. Here's a picture of the heart of my buck being shot in half by my 308 round. And you know how many people, including freaking Ivan from Kit Badger, sends me a DM and he's like, bro, shoot him in the head. And he like shows me this doe he brained this doe. Dude, all my gun industry people that I know, like Will at Magpul, Ivan from Kit Badger, all these guys are just shooting does in the head. And I'm like, dude, I saw this thing once where this guy went for a headshot on a deer and he missed low and he blew the deer's jaw off and the deer ran away and he couldn't find the deer. And then they found the deer later and the deer starved to death because it couldn't eat because it didn't have a bottom jaw. So I always think about that. And I think to myself, have I ever pulled a shot? And I'm honest with myself and I say, absolutely, I've pulled a shot. And so I think to myself, why would I endanger an animal and not kill it? Possibly because I'm trying to be a hotshot. And I'm not like getting on the high horse right now, and I'm not scolding Ivan or Will or anybody else. But I am saying, when you're a little kid and you take your hunter's education course, or if you're like not a little kid, if you're a grown-ass man and take it like I did, because, I didn't grow up hunting, you learn to respect the animals, and we need to do that. I think that's important. I think, you don't just kill to kill. I think you kill for a reason. You kill respectfully. You don't want an animal to suffer. And so, yeah, I shoot deer in the heart. Now, man, I was so proud of my fiance. She killed that deer. Oh, that was so great. And I shot my buck in the heart. She shot her buck in the heart. I shot this doe in the heart. This doe ran. It was a through and through. This doe ran, no blood trail. She only went 10 yards, so I saw where she went. But there was absolutely no blood trail. And I was like, that's weird. And I guess it's because, there wasn't a blood trail because she didn't run that far. But I was like, that was crazy. It was just one of those things. Sometimes there's no blood trail, and it's like just the way the bullet comes out sometimes, maybe the way it hits a rib. You know what I found that sometimes when you blow through a chest cavity of a deer and you hit the ribs just right, the ribs that you hit on that entrance side will come apart and they'll perforate the opposite side with supersonic ammo. It just depends. Anyway, I thought that was cool. I think in this situation, could we have used subsonic 300 blackout to take those deer? Yeah. I mean, when I killed my buck, I think it was over 150 yards. There was no way. How far away was that deer when I shot it? I think it was about 150 yards. The buck I shot. There is no way on God's green earth I would have used 300 blackout subsonic for that deer. Not because I don't think it'll work, but because I am not confident yet. Like, I want to warm up to it. Like, if it wasn't the last day of our hunting trip, would I have maybe used subsonic 300 blackout to kill a doe? I don't know. Am I scared? Yeah, I'll admit it. I think I'm a little scared. I think I'm a little scared to do it because I just know what happens when you lose a deer. And I think some people haven't lost game before. And it's one of the most horrible experiences a hunter can ever go through. It's a necessary experience. And if any hunter has told you he's never lost an animal, he hasn't been hunting long enough. I don't care. And if you're yelling at me through your phone right now or your car when you're listening to this, I don't care. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how long you've been hunting. If you've never lost an animal, you haven't hunted long enough. It's just the fact. And so, and in South Texas brush country, not only have I lost animals, not many, lost a couple, but I've seen others lose them. So I've been on both sides of it, and it is an all-day thing, sometimes multiple day thing, the search. And it can be one of the most absolutely disheartening and devastating learning experiences that you will ever go through in your life as a hunter. And so for many reasons, right? I mean, you can imagine if you're not a hunter, you got to think about this. Like the hunters listening to this right now know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're not a hunter, look, not only did you possibly cause an animal a horrible long death, but you also completely took an entire day of hunting and threw it out the window. If not a whole season, if that was the only time you can get out there. Could you imagine putting all that work in only to take a shot? And not only did you not get the animal, but not only was that your only shot, but you possibly killed it and then the meat went to waste? Dude. Come on, man. It's the worst thing ever. It's not the worst thing ever. I mean, you're alive, but I'm just saying. So when I hear people saying, "Well, what's the effective range of the mini fix?" Effective range for what, dude? I can shoot the mini fix and hit a 1-inch T-post at 100 yards all day long. Does that mean I'm going to shoot a deer with it? Just because I can kill a deer by shooting them in the head does not mean I'm going to shoot the deer in the head. Just because I can shoot a deer by shooting it with a subsonic 300 blackout projectile does not mean I'm going to do that. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. And it's a debate. And is it a matter of personal preference? Absolutely it is. Is there a right answer? No, there's not. There's not a definitive right answer, but there are opinions. And my opinion is it's going to take me time to learn about it. I'm probably going to start with supersonic 300 blackout hunting to get comfortable with the lower energies, to get comfortable with punching through medium game tissue in a way that I feel comfortable to create an adequate blood trail for tracking, to get comfortable with the weapon platform I use. And then once I move into closer shots, I'll start to use subsonic. I'll observe the wounding patterns of the subsonic on game animals such as deer. And then from there, I will decide to myself, how far can I come out? How far can I reach out to shoot these deer? But what I'm not going to do is go, David from Discreet Ballistics, he and I talk all the time. I use his ammo to test. just because David posts these pictures of his fast twist projectiles killing stuff, what? I'm just gonna say, oh yeah, it'll kill anything and it's fine. I'm a good enough shot, no problem. No way, dude. I put like and another thing, you talk about the time aspect where you're like, well, I do all this stuff. I have my job, and then I run PEW Science. I write these reviews. I record this podcast. I'm doing all this stuff, and then I try to like go out and have time to go hunting, and then I want to go and like make sure I kill the animal. Yeah, I'm going to use Supersonic 308 because I'm using what I'm comfortable with. Okay, so I wanted to give that level of detail for you on this topic because I have gotten some questions from folks about like what calibers I hunt with and why. And I think a lot has to do with what you're comfortable with. It has a lot to do with your hunting area, your area of operations, man. Like, what are you doing? And the type of animal you're hunting, the stakes, like how high are the stakes? Are you bow hunting to survive? Are you rifle hunting to survive? To harvest meat? To cull a herd? Or are you shooting a hog in the face because you like to shoot things? Because frankly, I know hogs are pests and we kill them because they're terrible. They ruin everything. But you go on YouTube every day. You're going to see people shooting hogs. I tell you what, and no one likes to say this because if you say this, you're going to get people are going to be like you're liberal. They're gonna say you're left wing. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know. You're like, okay, dude, listen. Like, I've seen so many people go hog hunting, and those people are hog hunting just because they want to kill living things. Like, they're not. They're like, oh no, we're helping the ranch. You're not helping anything. Like, let me tell you, the people that are doing actual eradication, like actual hog eradication, I can tell you right now, I know those people. One of those people is Todd Huey. I know Todd. That dude is killing the amount of pigs that he kills is not, it's ridiculous. Now there's landowners that they're killing hogs on their property because they need to control, like that's different. What I'm talking about is these guys that go out there and they're just killing to kill, and it's pretty easy to tell, especially when they put them on the internet in the videos. And so when I'm talking about hunting with 300 blackout, I'm talking about hunting. I'm not talking about pest control. If you want to go shoot vermin and living things without regard for their suffering or the way they die or anything, and you don't care about terminal ballistics because to you it's blood is blood. Hey, hey man, you just go use a 17 HMR and shoot them in the eyes. Like, I don't know. I mean, you can do it. I mean, we trap pigs all the time. I'll trap a pig in a steel trap, and I'll get a silence 22 and shoot them right in the ear. But that's because they're right there in the trap, and that's humane. You know what I mean? But so like there's levels to this. Is kind of what I'm saying. So back to the Hyperion K. I have to say, it was pretty cool. It was an awesome hunting trip, and it was a weird hunting year because there's a lot of growth keeping a lot of the deer isolated. I don't want to turn this into a hunting episode, but there's so much to explain to you. If you're not a hunter, especially in an arid desert climate, when you have a lot of growth, plant growth from like rain that's not typical, it changes feeding patterns of animals. And this can be actually highly localized depending on where the hunting terrain is. And so it's been a weird year, and my fiance and I have been very busy with our careers and stuff and our professional endeavors. And so we weren't able to get out in the early and mid rut like we had liked. And so the late rut's always a way harder hunt when there's a lot of rain, because the deer are already paired up. They're already mating like hardcore. Like, they've already found their does that what these bucks do is they grab on these does and they'll take this doe and they'll just they're using her for a while, and they're doing so now in locations where the food's so plentiful they don't need to come to where we've set up some feeders, because they're like, well, we'll hide, and the chances in the late rut of you coaxing them out of there are low. And in South Texas, in the brush country, you are not going to walk in stock and find a deer like that. You will not. You're not going to. Like, I don't care if you're Cameron Haynes. You're not doing it. You're just not doing it, because you cannot sneak up on a South Texas whitetail like that. You can't. And so, I mean, unless you're in a place in South Texas where you're like near like the Eagle Ford Shale development, where you have all this like clay stuff, and there's no and you've taken the land and you've tilled it, and you've removed the rocks and the thorns, and it's like artificially groomed, and it's like some kind of high fence, like special ranch, where you see all these Instagram influencer people where they're like, oh my gosh, I am so grateful for this deer that I've been hunting all year. And you look at it and you're like, you've been hunting that deer all year? Bro, that deer's got like swords sticking out of his face. Like, it's the most jacked up, high fenced, $5,000 you pay for deer I've ever seen. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things where it's like, don't give me that. Like, anyway, I'm getting off track. We got it done. We got the hunt done. Now, I'm happy to report that the Hyperion K is a great hunting silencer. It's extremely small. It's very light. I'll go on record to say, however, that it's probably the loudest hunting silencer I would be comfortable with using on a 16-inch 308. Okay? It sounded good, especially for its size, but don't get it twisted. This is not a super quiet silencer like the full-size version, and it is louder than the Helios, okay? I want you to make sure you guys know this. I do not want... Look, I told you... Remember last time I told you, look, like, it sounds pretty good, but it's not... You saw the sound signature review on the 20-inch 308, right? So you saw what it scored. Okay? This is not the quietest silencer. Okay? It is a purpose-built, tiny silencer. And it happens to be a tiny silencer that actually works, which is rare. So that's what it is. And I think it's cool. Now, I think, having said that, I think for most people, when the Helios QD Ti is released, if it has a tapered direct thread rear mount option, it'll probably if I were a betting man, it would probably be the go-to all-purpose CGS silencer for centerfire rifle. That's what I think. I think with that, you're going to put it on pretty much everything you have, and it's going to meet or exceed the performance of most stuff its size. And the Hyperion K is a little smaller and lighter, but I don't know. Hunting with the Hyperion K for a week, man, it's so crazy, dude. It's so small. Dude, you know what? Oh, before I stop talking about CGS really quick, I will say, I just had a conversation. Well, in the next topic, I'm going to do a crossover real quick. So I had this conversation with the silencer manufacturer this evening. And they mentioned that they had shot some CGS stuff and they were impressed. And we talked about it. It was cool because I was talking to one of their competitors. And they were impressed. And we got to talking about how cool it is that CGS is using 3D printing to actually do something with the geometry. Like CGS is using 3D printing to do stuff to make the thing work better, not just use 3D printing because it's a cool manufacturing technology. Do you understand the difference? That's important. Okay? When you're just using 3D printing because you want to say something's 3D printed, oh man, I don't want to give you a spoiler, but I tested a 3D printed silencer and I'll show you the results, and you'll be like, huh. I'm like, yeah, I know. Okay. Well, that's not coming this week, but that one will come. I'll give you a 3D printed silencer review that'll be boring. Trust me. Trust. I have one. I have the data. I processed it over the holidays. I was like, that sucks. Not sucks, but it was disappointing. I was like, that's disappointing. Anyway, but yeah, so I talked to a silencer manufacturer today, and they were talking about they saw a Hyperion and a Hyperion K and a Helios, and they were like, dude, the Helios, bro. I was like, I know. The Helios though, right? They're like, I know. Like we were just talking about it as like silencer people, as like silencer guys. Like one's the head of R&D at a major manufacturer, and I'm just Jay, and we were talking about the Helios, and we were like, dude, like, it's incredible. No, incredible. I think I might have used the word incredible. I think he used the word impressive. And I was like, yeah, it is impressive. It is definitely impressive. And so when I think about the titanium version, in the back of my mind, I had this past week, I was like, I wonder, should I have just shot it with that? Should I just have used that on my? But I didn't like that because I want the taper, direct taper to my barrel. I don't like using the bushing. I don't trust it. I don't like that. It's weird. I don't like tolerance stacking. I just never have. And especially the bushing, it's not clean to me. It just doesn't feel correct. No matter what on that 308 fix, I was either going to put, for hunting, I was going to put a half Nelson. I was going to put a full Nelson, or I was going to put a SIG silencer that had taper, and CGS had these. And I was like, okay, CGS then. So I went the smallest one. I put the smallest direct thread taper silencer in existence on my fix, and it worked. I didn't even know about it. I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't even know it was there. It was so light and small. I didn't even think about the silencer. That's how small that silencer is. The picture I'm going to post of my buck, I'm going to post you know what I'm going to post too with it? I'm going to post the doe picture too, so you can see both the pictures show the silencer on the gun. The one with the doe, I think, is going to show the silencer in its true, like at an angle that shows how big it is. I think the one with the buck, the way the picture was taken, it makes the silencer look, it makes the silencer look bigger. Dude, I'm telling you how small the silencer is. Just get a ruler, look at the length. It is dumb small. It's a perfect gun setup right now. Perfect Whitetail setup. Oh, but you know what? I was using a Sightmark 3-18. Yeah, that's going away. I just bought a Swarovski. Is that how you pronounce that right? Swarovski. I have a problem with that word. Yeah, Z8i 2-16. So that should be way better. That Sightmark, I took. We took 3 deer with it. I took a hog with it. I have a feeling that the Swarovski is going to be a level up. The Sightmark's good. It's a little heavy, and the upper magnification ranges they're just not as clear. The eye relief sucks. It's better than like a Vortex. A lot of the Vortex stuff, like the Sightmark Pinnacle that I have, it's cheap, but it's like all those Vortex scopes that people seem to think are good, like the Strike Eagle or all that stuff. That's garbage. The Sightmark Pinnacle will run circles around all of the Vortex stuff, except for maybe the Razor stuff. You know what I mean? Because the Razor stuff's I think a level up. Maybe I think the Vortex Razors I think compete with the Sightmark Pinnacle. But then you have like the Swarovski and like a Leupold, which I think beat the famous Japanese factory glass that is all made in the same factory, but they have different manufacturer names. I don't know if you know that, right? But like Vortex, Sightmark, Weaver Tactical. There's a bunch of these optic companies. They're like, they even use, a lot of them use the same body, the same scope body, and it comes out of the Japanese factories. I mean, it's good glass, and Japanese glass is pretty good, but you're just paying for name at that point, like little features and stuff. But optically, they're all pretty similar optically. I find, from my experience. Now there are exceptions. I know that some of the higher end Vortex stuff, I think Vortex might have won some kind of military something, or they must have got some cash infusion, or I don't know. I think they did something special recently, but I'm not especially impressed with Vortex. I don't understand what the huge thing about them is. I don't know. The glass the glass is clear, I guess. Like my Vortex 1-6 is pretty good. I didn't buy it though. I won that in a contest. And so would I have bought it? I don't know. I don't know if I would have bought a Vortex 1-6. Huh. I think Night Force is awesome. You ever look through a Night Force scope? Those things are heavy, but dude, that glass though. Oh my God. It's like so beautiful. Looks so great. I've always had really good luck with loophole stuff too. Like the high-end loophole stuff. Even the lower-end loophole stuff, I've just found, like over decades, found it to be nice. It's never really disappointed me ever. So there's just like certain scopes that are cool. The only reason I was using the Sight Mark is because I got some crazy deal on it one time. So anyway, this is how it goes. I think you get what you pay for in the optics game. I think you just have to, like, for me, I hunted for 10 years with a Weaver Tactical 3-15. I think it was $800. Definitely not a top end scope. It was first focal plane, mil dot scope, illuminator reticle. It killed all the deer that are hanging on my wall right now. When I changed my hunting rifle, I decided to get a different scope, and so I figured, I was at 3-15. Now I'm going. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was at 3-15. Now I'm going 2-16. So same magnification range, just expanded. I get a little bit more on the bottom end. I get a little bit more on the top end. Probably not going to use 2 or 16. I'll probably keep it on 3, and then zoom into like maybe at most 12. At most, in where I hunt and how I hunt. So, yeah. I'll let you know when I get that scope. I'm pretty stoked. I'm actually pretty stoked about that. Okay. Topic 4. Time of, man, I'm dragging on. I'm like rambling today. It's probably because I'm exhausted. 1 hour, 33 minutes, and 9 seconds. New sound signature review this week. Oh, man, I'm actually really excited about this one. And I actually got myself excited. I got myself excited about this because I had a great conversation today. It was a very good phone call with the silencer manufacturer. For those of you just tuning in, before I release any PEW Science-funded PEW Science sound signature review, I contact the manufacturer of the silencer so that I can speak with them about the test data. Okay? I do this as a courtesy to the manufacturer. I don't need to do it because PEW Science owns all the data that we generate, from any PEW Science funded tests, like internally funded. Like I own that data. Like I can put it on a billboard in downtown Houston or whatever. But I don't. I tell people about it. Like I choose to speak with the manufacturer before I release that data because I think it's the right thing to do. I think it's a professional thing to do, and I think it's nice. I think it's a nice thing to do, so I do it. Now, I always reach out, always. And these people, they call, they're great guys. They call me A very long phone call. We discussed a tremendous amount of technical data. I think the review this week is going to help a lot of people. I do. It's probably not a silencer you're expecting, but it does have characteristics that have resulted in knowledge gaps I have seen across the industry. And so I think the test results and analysis I present are going to put a lot of things to rest. A lot of misinformation, I think, has been put out on some of the characteristics of something the silencer has on it. And so whenever I can help with the misinformation and help clarify it, I'm happy, because that means that people are going to learn something. And I think this data is definitely going to benefit consumers in the industry. And so stay tuned for that this week. I think you're going to find it informative. Should be Thursday, I think. Maybe Friday. Maybe Thursday. Okay. All right, that was a short one. We're going to go to topic 5 at a time of 1 hour, 35 minutes, and 42 seconds. PEW Science industry happenings. Man, a lot of things to catch up on in the new year. I included this. I put this on the agenda here to talk about because I want to make. I know a lot of people listen to this, not only consumers, but my clients listen to this. PEW Science clients listen, and also prospective clients and manufacturers and industry folks. And so I just want to let you guys know, hey, thank you for your patience through these holidays. There's quite a lot of interest in high fidelity sound signature testing and research from silencer manufacturers and end users and law enforcement, military entities, things like that. This is actually, it's starting to become exactly what I wanted this to be, a concerted effort to help the firearms community by advancing the state of practice, advancing the technology, advancing the user benefit of silencers. That's what we want to do, and it's very good, but it's a bit overwhelming a little bit. So it's like what, January 5th right now, so it's only Tuesday. It's Tuesday. So to those of you manufacturers who reached out to PEW Science in late 2020, thank you for your vote of confidence in our testing capabilities and our data analysis capabilities. And I look forward to assisting you with your testing and your R&D. I do. I'm very excited to give you your proposals and everything. It's been busy and vacation-y. So exciting times for the industry right now. If you're a consumer, you don't know how lucky you are right now, I think. I mean, other than the fact that ammo is hard to get, you're in hog heaven. All right. Topic 6, a time of 1 hour, 37 minutes, and 38 seconds. Okay. Welcome to new PEW Science members. Thank you for your support as always. The overwhelming outpouring of support and kind words and well wishes from the PEW Science membership has been phenomenal, guys. Like, throughout the holiday season, it's been amazing. Every day I speak with you folks personally, and your inquisitive nature, your desire for high product performance, your desire to understand suppressed small arms, it's incredible to me. It's motivating. I think without all of you members, this would not be possible. So as always, thank you. Thank you. I envision offering even more member data for you folks in 2021 to support us. I have some thoughts, especially regarding first round pop analysis. I think that's something I think you members deserve. I think you do. And I think this is my fault. I think I've glossed over some of this. I know I talk about first round pop in the reviews. I know you see it in Impulse Space, and you've seen some of it in the member research supplements. But I think we need a bigger compendium. I think we need to start, frankly, and this is just this. I haven't decided this for sure. I almost want to start a first round pop ranking. And I know that's crazy, but I think it might be something that folks, I don't know. Because, when you think about first round pop, you think, well, you want to do absolute first round pop comparisons, right? Just like you do absolute suppression ratings. But what about relative first round pop? Like, do you care about that? Like, for example, Do you care about how much louder the first round is than all the other shots? Or do you care about how loud the first round pop is compared to every other silencer's first round pop? Or both? You feel me? So isn't it cool, like the way you can like look at the data, and also not only like the way you look at the way you present the data. So anyway, that's an example of something I think we might do some more of too. So stay tuned for deliverables like that, members. To all you manufacturer and dealer PEW Science members, thank you so much for your continued support. It means a great deal, and it shows how much folks really take performance seriously and true data seriously. It's a big deal, guys. For those of you who don't know, dealers, distributors, and manufacturers who join PEW Science really help us out, and it helps all of you listening in multiple ways. It really does. First of all, it shows that the people making and selling you silencers are tuned into real performance data. Second of all, their contributions help fund research. Okay? Which improves the information they get and you get that's benefiting everyone. It's amazing. You know, I am told, my data is being used in very large organizations. Very, very large distributor organizations to sell silencers. So directly to consumers. So yeah. I mean, it's going to happen, right? It's going to happen. I mean, a lot of people, I think, didn't realize it. They're like, oh, well, he's not going to be able to test everything. It's like, oh, yeah, I think we will. So it's cool. It's helping everyone and it means a lot. And I couldn't have done it without you guys. I couldn't have done it without the members. Now, thank you again, everyone. Let's make this year awesome. All right, let's make 2021. Let's make it awesome. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like 2020 was awesome. I really do. I feel like 2020 was awesome. And I think 2021 is going to be more awesome. I mean, that's honestly my opinion. I think we've been through a lot, but this is going to be, I mean, imagine what we all did in 2020. Now imagine what we're going to do this year. It's going to be awesome. All right? So yeah, let's kick it off. Let's kick it off in productive fashion this week. I will talk with you folks again soon. I promise I'll just stand by. You're going to get some data. It's going to be awesome. Talk to you guys later.